Good morning, everybody. It's time. It's time for chapter 26 of our read aloud. If you remember the last chapter, Malu was having a bit of a crisis, an inner crisis, where she was thinking about how, oh my gosh, how am I going to sing this song in Spanish? Not that she can't speak Spanish, because she can, right? Maybe not as fluent as her mother or others in her family. She knows a little bit, right? Way more than me. But she's really nervous about singing the song in Spanish. And I'm going to make an inference prediction. Because I know she hasn't told her mom yet. And I know that her mom wants her to be a señorita and speak Spanish. I'm thinking this will bridge the gap between the two. Her mom's going to be upset with her for hiding it from her, hiding the band from her. But I think ultimately her learning to do it in Spanish and be her own person will unite them. I've never read this book before. I'm reading along with you guys. That's my prediction. I'm activating all my background knowledge of all these stories I've read my whole life. I'm putting it right here. Quote me on that. All right, so chapter 26. In the days that followed, I studied the lyrics to Cielito Lindo and listened to Lola B on loop. I'd read the lyrics so many times, I could almost see them pass before my eyes like they were on a digital news ticker. Around and around they went. I read them before bed. I whisper-sang them in the bathroom as I got ready for school. In math class, I slipped them inside my binder, and I sang them silently in my head during lunch while the band goofed around. More than a week into practicing the song, the band had finally played what sounded like Cielito Lindo. Once you have the song down, you can play around with the tempo, Mrs. Hidalgo said. Or it could just be chaos, Joe said. It is punk rock after all. Very funny, Mrs. Hidalgo said. What's the tempo, I asked. Like tiempo in Spanish, Benny said, the timing. Right now it's a sweet slow dance, Mrs. Hidalgo said. But you want to play it faster like it's a frenzied mosh pit, I said. We all cracked up. Something like that, Mrs. Hidalgo said. So you ready to sing today? The stomach I'd had on and off all day had come back. My palms were sweaty and my cheeks were flushed. I knew I shouldn't feel nervous. It was just Ellie, Joe, and Benny. But I was. Very. I felt like the cowardly lion in need of courage. I think so, I said. But you all have to promise not to laugh. Why would anyone laugh? Mrs. Hidalgo asked, looking sternly at Joe. Come on, Malu, Ellie said. You can do this. Okay, I said, nodding. I'm ready. Ellie counted down. Benny started his part on the trumpet. I opened my mouth to sing, but nothing came out. Sorry, I croaked. Start again. Ellie counted down again and Benny played, but all I could do was squeak out the first few lyrics. Loosen up those trenzas, Joe said. He reached over and tugged one of my braids. I tried to swallow, but my mouth felt like a desert. Can we get some water? Mrs. Hidalgo went to the kitchen and came back a minute later with a glass of water that I instantly gulped down. Not so fast, Joe said, taking the glass in my hand. You're going to get the hiccups. Closing your eyes might help, Mrs. Hidalgo said. Imagine you're alone in your room, or that you're singing in the shower. I nodded. Here we go, Joe said, for real this time. I took a deep breath and waited for the clicks of Ellie's drumsticks. I closed my eyes and tried to imagine myself alone in the room, like Mrs. Hidalgo had suggested. And then on cue, I sang like I'd been singing in my head and in whispers for days now. I opened one eye. I was still in the basement. The band was still there, busy with their instruments. No one stared or laughed. So I kept singing. I'd studied the words so much by then that they traveled easily from my brain to my mouth. I knew this song, but it still felt like I was struggling to make the words feel like my own. When I finished singing, I opened my eyes. Well, I asked. That was actually not bad, Joe said. Gee, thanks a lot. Don't listen to him, Ellie said. You were great. Beautiful, Mrs. Hidalgo said. Benny didn't say anything, but he gave me a thumbs up. I have to admit, I was a little worried about your Spanish, Joe said. I thought it would sound funny, you being a coconut and all. Takes one to know one, right? I asked. Seriously, though, he said. You have a good voice, dude. A wave of relief washed over me. Now we just have to kick it up a bit so it doesn't sound so sad, Ellie said. Good idea, Elle, I said. We should have some background vocals like in the song, Benny said. Yeah, I said. Maybe we can sing the chorus together. We went through the song a few more times. My body felt like a tightly wound coil, but it wasn't just nervousness anymore. It was excitement. Each time I sang, the words felt more natural coming out of my mouth, Like me and Spanish might belong together after all, if we gave each other a chance. Yeah. It turns out she is capable of singing in Spanish. Like Senora Aurelia, who learned the lyrics to the Beatles songs in Spanish. She's kind of doing the same thing here. I think it's going to benefit her. Please see what you need to respond to, guys.